Hi everyone. Okay, so I thought it'd be a good idea just to go through what happens to me when I'm channeling something. Um, many years ago, the guidance that I had led me to digging up a gold bracelet that made me realize the voice that was in my head was not mine, but somebody else's, of higher wisdom that was connecting to me, that could see under the sand, on a huge beach, and know that there was something under that sand for me to dig up. The experiences from there is that they started to connect to me over the next couple of years. And in those couple of years, they helped me train my brain to be more in control of my mind, to be able to go to sleep and visualize a beautiful scenery, so that it would relax me more at nighttime, and then during the day I started writing poetry, doing a lot more art, being a lot more creative. I'm a creative person anyway, but it was like there was space in my mind after learning how to clear it to fill up with all this creativity. So after all of that, and years of visitations, years of different beings coming to me, guidance of where to go next, premonition dreams, so much more. I have actually recorded my life story. It's on my YouTube. But the biggest thing that I was just thinking of then is that connection that I have. When it happens, I can close my eyes and I can visualize myself as more of a tube of light. And I can see from the top of my crown a tube of light going out, and it's connecting not to specific being, but to a more of a feeling of that being. And these are feelings that they've handed to me throughout all these years, and so I can connect back to them and remember what they felt like. So I can tap into these different perspectives within my feelings and emotions of my feelings, to that pinpoint, that beautiful euphoric reality. And then I might sometimes in my mind I see visualize a being walking towards me, and then it's more of emergence than a actual standing there and talking to me. It's more of I just become more of me, more of them, more of me, like a feeling of both of us as one. And then the information can start flowing through. Usually I like to write my channelings down because I let go a lot easier. I can just start. There's I might even have a idea of a question that I want to pose. So I hold that question and leave my mind very blank, connect to them as blank as I can, connect to them, kind of like emptying my cup. Empty your cup out first, connect to them, and then allow that information to just come, and I just start typing. And sometimes I don't even know what I'm typing. Even when I wrote my book, Jonah and Kitty, The Timekeeper's Void, for that children's novel, much of that was just channeled through, because I was not knowing what was coming myself before I was writing it. Yeah. So I'll just go in, I'll tap in, and we'll see what we can come up with. So I'm going to tap in today to this is more in line with, I can feel the feeling. It feels there's like a collective energy here, like a Pleiadian come Andromadian type scenario, and we'll just see what happens, because a lot of these beings are actually working together now, especially because now, okay, what they're telling me is now is the time where humanity is prepping themselves. We're being prepped to awaken this new feeling within us. There was always going to be a time where we had to clear a lot of our stuff, and that's what we're going through. But at the same time, certain people that have cleared enough are going to be asked to now learn to create what we want. But they want us to create with the information that our souls came here with, especially those souls that came from other planets, other realities that had this higher, compassionate, closer to oneness, with a realization that everything outside of them was within them. A very euphoric feeling, much more lighter in our day-to-day life. The mind is a lot lighter, so there's no the fear is dropped away, the anger then drops away, the guilt, any judgment, jealousy will all start dropping away, because you're starting to learn to tap into these new euphoric, still calm feelings that your soul knew before you were born. So that's kind of what it feels like for a lot of the light workers at the moment that have really started doing enough clearing to actually tap in. So they're telling me that right at this moment there are those that are ready to tap into this feeling from before they were born, bringing the energy from their reality before here, grounding it on earth. And how you ground it is through becoming more clearer and then more creative, just like I was shown all those years ago. And the creativity that comes out of that is expressed without fear, without judgment of self, without the ego kind of crushing down on you. And when that happens, because you're holding that frequency of self-love and self-support, your outer world means that only those that resonate with that support and self-love come to you. Yes, you might get the odd one because we are going in between the old patterns and the new ones coming up. There might be the odd person that comes to show you, hey, you're out of alignment again, and they come down on your work, and then you're like, oh, wow, I forgot I'm creating this. I don't need to stir up old emotions and be afraid of things anymore. I forgot that I'm creating my own reality, and I just need to tap into that benevolent feeling again. And as soon as you do that, the space comes, the creativity comes, and you're on the roll again. So that's really the lessons that are happening at the moment. They're really showing me that. Another thing, like if I'm going to tell you what happens when I channel, I tend to swallow a lot as well. It's kind of like a feeling of, I don't know how to describe that, but yeah, some people do different, channel in different ways, but for some reason it just gets to me in my throat. I think because my throat opens up a lot more than what I'm used to. So that chakra just spins even more, and then it just makes me swallow more. Okay, let's see what else. If they got any more information. The more that we tap into them, the more that we tap into those feelings, the more we're going to have communication with those beings that we come from. Like, not everyone is from the Andromadians, Pleiadians, some are from Lyrans, some are from the Anunnaki. And Anunnakis, when they came through with me, they really wanted to let humanity know that they have learned, they knew that they came here for a purpose. They know that they've learned that purpose is over. They've learnt and they know that humanity needs to wake up, that's going to help them on their journey as well. Once we start coming into our power again. Humans are very powerful beings because we are creators, natural creators. And we're like a link, a missing link within the so many other beings that are out there trying to evolve. We're almost like that been bred as that missing link to that divine creator and connection straight to source energy, and being able to ground that in a reality as a storyline from point A to point B in such a manner that it can that we can create such diversity from being whatever we purposely want to, our soul purposely wants to explore. We can tap into every single animal on this planet. We can tap into every single tree on this planet. We can tap into all these beings that are out there. We have the ability to become that oneness, to recognize, but we needed to learn valuable lessons first, and that's why that connection was severed for a while, put to sleep, as you may. Now we are coming back. We're connecting to these beautiful beings. This is the ripe, it's like they show me this ripeness of the fruit. We are ripened now. Those that have done all of the work are ripened now to start bringing in that energy, grounding it on earth, being that being that person, being the enlightened ones that we want to be, standing in our power, being the feeling of being a goddess, whatever you feel, or a wizard, or an elven, or wherever you feel your ancestors are, Pleiadian, or really starting to live that role, really starting to stand up and become that you used to be, and that you are more familiar with, bringing it on earth, not being afraid anymore to stand up and say, this is who I am, allowing that ridicule to just drop away, because that is only a reflection of your self-doubt. So, well, my head's a bit spacey at the moment now. That's another thing. My head goes a lot lighter. Okay, they're showing me planets at the moment. It's like I'm going through being shown specific planets. Connections to specific names of planets. Okay, channel messages coming through to some people of planets that aren't actually found yet, but will be soon. So certain names might come to people and they'll go, I feel like I'm from a blah, blah, blah planet. And then that planet will be discovered, and it might be named by the scientists by a number and some letters, but you'll recognize it as the planet that you channeled through. Then once that happens, that because that connection has already been made, then in reality it becomes part of reality in the overall picture as well. The more we ignite ourselves, the more we connect to things outside of this reality. It's like we're igniting the DNA, igniting the neuron paths, then that reflection actually reflects back as that expansion as well. So you end up having more connections to the planets, to the stars. There will be contact eventually. I've always been told, at the moment, I've always been told 2022, but they're also saying 2026 to me at the moment. This all depends on the person that's being contacted. It's not going to be like, boom, everyone knows, because there's so many different realities come at the same time. There's so many different realities being played out at the same moment on Earth at the moment. So one person might be completely oblivious to all of this, and he's the garbage disposal man that, drops off your garbage, and if you go to talk to him, he'd just be blank. He just won't even recognize what you're saying. It'll be just like blah coming out of your mouth, because he won't understand it. But that's his reality. Extremely needed, extremely valuable, no different in any hierarchy or any single thing like that. That's got nothing to do with it. We're all oneness here, experiencing different adventures, and that person is just as valid and valuable as a person who's learning to connect to source energy and all the benevolent beings. Just that one is in a different reality, even though you're living in the same, on the same planet. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's it. I kind of lost that then, straight after I said that. I can feel them coming back. Hang on. It's sort of taking me back to Earth, connections to Earth as well, not just the stars. Some people are born from that was Earth herself. Some people have been born from that was animals. Some people, I'm talking about the soul here. So the soul before this life as a human might have been an animal, might have been part of Earth, might have had wisdom through different things. Some wise souls that have come from benevolence have gone into animals, and you'll find that those animals have more of a knowing when they're connecting to the humans, and that's because they're the go-between that species and the human that's been woken up. That the elementals that have been woken up as well, they're waking up many beings that many humans that were elven before, or in the fairy elemental world before, gnomes and all that sort of stuff. They were in that faster vibration before. They were born in as a human, and now the elementals are waking those people up. So there was lots of fairy rings that were coming around at one stage. And you'll see when they're coming to wake you up, there'll be fairy rings on your lawn, and that's one of the big indicators that they're there to help you awaken. So yeah, there's lots of different connections happening at the moment. It's not just benevolent beings. There's all sorts of different connections that have been awoken connections to crystals as well that are holding a lot of wisdom. There's connection to water, which is like the blood of the earth. You put your feet in the water, you might start getting information from that. There's so many different new connections happening. I mean, they're telling me that even if you go into the smallest of particles, there is that is source energy. There is that is God within. Every single thing is that. So every single thing holds certain frequencies that are in line with information and wisdom that we as humans can tap into. And that is the brilliance of being a human. We are the go-betweeners. We are the creators. We can learn much more than what's written in a book by our predecessor. I mean, anything that's written in a book by our predecessor was probably channeled information, or it came up with some sort of idea that went forth into the unknown to create an experiment, to be able to write about it, and their knowingness that this is true, because they could feel it, became the experiment, became their outside reality. Then they write it in a book, then someone follows that. But we need to drop all of those things that we're following, because we need to allow these channel messages to come through, and we be the creator, we be the first connector, we be the first one that picks up on the wisdom of those things, and then we start writing it down. And then if others want to learn that way because they're more in a logical way, then they can, or they can also learn to be the channeled messages of the world, which will shift everything. Okay, bye.